So we can all have opinions about that. I won't whip it out today. But my best friend a lot of times is really just a cone. So I'm going to grab a couple cones here. Checking out the range. Pretty good, guys. So I'm always having a cone up because I really want them to think about their footwork. And it's important for me. So I usually have cones on the other side also. Look, the one thing we have to understand today is this will be a lot better if people yell things at me, even if it's bad things. But let's ask questions. Let's have some conversation, because I know the thing I've missed the most in the last 2.5 years is just getting together with people and just talking tennis. So with Grace, I'm just having her just work on going deep with the ball. You can see that for Grace, we're not going to be talking too much about strokes. I want her ball to be accelerating and rising as it goes over the net. So I'm always giving her that goal to get that ball deep. And we're really just getting that cross-court pattern down, right? But I want it deep. With my kids, I always tell them, if you miss long, it's not really a miss. Right, good. So we do that, and then we go do a couple down the lines. Right, this isn't rocket science. You know, I would say I learned a lot over the years, and I always try to put myself in position to learn more. One of the best experiences I had was taking my USC team, let's alternate, to go train with the SEALs. We went down and trained with the SEALs in Coronado for 2 days, and they told me, we don't do anything special. We have no special equipment, but we make sure everything is done to the best. We're going to practice it and practice it and practice it. So I really took a lot from that. But you can see, right? No balls in the net. 0, yeah. Give her a round of applause. She is amazing. She is a super special tennis player, but even more important, she's a super special person. She asked me, I think about 6 weeks ago, can you tell me what the meaning of success is? I'm like, girl, we need to sit down. But, you know, you don't get those questions a lot. So you can see all we're doing is height. You know, I talk a lot about height. I talk a lot about depth. You know, I put down there my biggest influence probably first was Pancho Segura. He was so amazing. He always talked about taking time away. So for me, taking time away is getting the ball deep, getting yourself in a position to move up. Again, we'll just go through this. We go deep ball, short ball. So we're going to back you up and then move you up, right? You can see her footwork is so good. Great. Let's go cross on the deep one. Good. And down the line on this one. Right. This is, we've all seen this before. But when we can bring the energy and enthusiasm to it every day, right, then we have a chance at greatness. Awesome. Next is we're just going to go ball out of the air, off the bounce. So let's push that cone back. Okay. Baseline each time. Off the bounce. Out of the air. Off the bounce. I love taking balls out of the air. Love it. I love the extension. When I was at Indian Wells this year, I sat on the court, practice court, right next to Alcaraz, and I've never seen extension like that in my life. So every time I'm feeding a ball out of the air to one of my students, I picture Alcaraz. But you can see her footwork is always, always there. And I'll do it on both sides. Big fan of doing this on the backhand. Don't just do this on the forehand. Same thing. Sorry, I should have bounced it first. Good. And really what I learned coaching Juliana Olmos is how important the swinging volley is in women's tennis. So, especially with my female students, I'm really working hard, right, on their swinging volleys. One of the things that actually Grace can struggle with a little bit is balls that are out of position. I created this drill many years ago, I wanted to work on footwork, and I've done this a lot with Grace, where I'm just pushing her around a little bit with no cone and trying to get her a little out of position. So, Grace, 2 or 3 back, 1 up. Yeah, you're there, you just recover. You know, one of the key terms everybody talks about these days is creating space, and I think this is a great drill to force players to create space and move up to the ball. But you can see her racket preparation is just so very good, right? And that's something we've really spent a lot of time working on. Any thoughts, questions? Yes. Right. Yeah. Yeah, no, I've also used, a flat piece also. I guess there were some over there. The question was, he thought when she's going around the cone, she's looking at the cone, taking her eyes off the ball, off the court, which is a great point. Usually, I would say the kids, they all want to cheat, right? So I want to kind of trip on something if they cheat. Trip on something that doesn't break their leg. So if they're going to kick that or do that, and I just want them to hold them a little bit more accountable. And I think after a while, and Grace has done this enough, that they shouldn't really have to look. Yes? How do I deal with training in the heat? Yeah, I mean, you're just taking more breaks. To me, I have zero problem with breaks, right? I just have a problem with laziness. So if they want to work their, I have one boy that I worked with yesterday. Yesterday was a very Nathan Tam. He's a good junior. I mean, he must have taken in an hour. He probably might have taken 8 breaks. And he's an older kid. He's 17, junior in high school. No problem with that. Nathan absolutely kills himself on the court. So if he wants to have some water, go for it. And some kids will ask for it, some kids won't. Yeah, well, this week was such a good week because it was so windy, right? And, I was telling Grace, you should be so thankful for this. I would say that last drill is the one she struggles with the most, and I think we see she hasn't missed a ball in the net yet. But we can do a couple more of that, and I can be a little meaner. Do you think I'm mean, Grace? No, she thinks I'm really nice. But you can see how good she is at creating space. But when I was throwing this in the wind the other day, it wasn't so good. I love actually to see my kids fail. This next drill, it's kind of funny. The only people that can do this drill at my club are the girls. The boys don't have the patience to do this. So I think I never, look, when I was at USC, people were like, oh, how'd you do this? How did I do that? Everything always was process oriented. We never, ever, ever talked about what the obvious thing was. What's the obvious thing? The obvious thing is to get the W. So when we're hitting, I don't want her, move that cone. I just don't want you to step on it. Just push it back a little bit. I don't talk to my students about getting the ball in. Who cares if we're getting the ball in? I want them to hit it with a purpose, hit it assertive. So, Grace, we're just going to go cross courts. This is a hard drill for a lot of the kids. We're gonna go to 10. This actually isn't on the drill, I think maybe. We're gonna go to 10. If you miss wide or in the net or long, we start all over.